An orphan boy was looked down on by most of the students. Little did they know, this so-called commoner was actually the Iceblade Sorcerer, the youngest of the 7 Grand Sorcerers in the land. He would soon surpass everyone who mocked him. The story kicks off with Ray White, a little boy who just lost someone dear to him. Fueled by his anger, he unleashes his magical powers, revealing he's no ordinary kid. The next scene, Ray ends up at Arnold Magic Academy, where only nobles go, making him the first commoner ever to join. As if being an orphan wasn't enough, he's immediately threatened by a student named Albert. But don't worry, Amelia Rose from one of the top noble families steps in to help. She's impressed that Ray even made it to the school. Ray introduces himself to his new classmates, and Miss Gray, their teacher, welcomes him warmly. During class, Ray reflects on his past, but his thoughts are interrupted when Miss Gray talks about the rank system, from Bronze to Grand Mage. She mentions that only 7 magicians hold the Grand rank. Among them are Headmistress Abby Garnett, a flame sorceress, and the most famous one, Caroline, a witch sorceress. The strongest of the 7 is the legendary Iceblade Sorcerer, who was a hero in the war but mysteriously disappeared afterward. After theory lessons, the magic training kicked off. Mrs. Gray showed the students how to create and decode magic spells. Out of nowhere, a shy student asked if she was using anti-material code. Mrs. Gray chuckled and said, "No one uses anti-material code here." The class continued and, as expected, Amelia Rose from the top noble family nailed her spell, creating a perfect ice flower. Ray gave it a shot, but his spell flopped, and some of the other students gave him dirty looks. When class ended, Ray headed to the library and bumped into the shy Eliza Griffith. They chatted about the anti-magic code, and Eliza started to warm up to Ray. That's when he found out she's a half-elf, and they quickly became friends. Later, Ray went to find his new room, and met his roommate, Evi Armstrong. They hit it off right away, bonding over their shared love for bodybuilding. The next morning, during his workout, Ray ran into the stunning Rebecca Bradley, who, like Amelia, was from the highest noble families. On his way to see the headmistress, Ray accidentally bumped into a girl named Clarice. He quickly apologized and complimented her, which made her smile instead of getting mad. When Ray met with the headmistress Abby, she was thrilled to see him again and asked if he was enjoying school so far. Later during training, Ray showed off his skills by effortlessly defeating his opponent, Albert, thanks to his Iceblade Sorcerer powers. In the evening, Ray trained with his new friend, Evi, and decided to join the Environmental Research Club. To become a member, he had to flex his muscles. The club chairman was impressed and asked him if he had a gold hunter license. Ray showed his license and he was welcomed into the club. Next, Ray wanted to join the Flower Garden Club, which was only for women. Club chairman Rebecca was open to the idea, but one member, Dina, refused to let him in. Dina accused Ray of trying to join just to woo Rebecca. To settle things, Rebecca decided Dina should test Ray. If Ray failed, Dina could refuse him. Dina took Ray to the Academy's rooftop, where a field of barren soil and weeds awaited him. His task was to transform it into a beautiful garden within a week. Ray got to work right away, and Rebecca even brought him snacks. By the 4th day, Ray had turned the field into a stunning garden and passed his test, earning his place in the Flower Garden Club. Then Ray was summoned by Headmistress Abby again, who gave him a secret mission. According to Abby, a spy had infiltrated their kingdom and might already be at the academy. On his way back to the academy, Ray ran into Clarice, who was busy watching insects. She mentioned that many people find it odd for a noble to be interested in insects and that she didn't have many friends. Ray shared that he also had a passion for insects and was happy to be friends with her. Clarice was delighted by his kindness. Later in class at the academy, Ray was asked to explain the different forms of magic. He named each form and perfectly described its functions. When it was time to form groups for a field exercise, everyone wanted to team up with Amelia Rose. Ray, being an ordinary student, wasn't as lucky with group choices, but his buddy Evi teamed up with him, and Ray invited Eliza to join them. Amelia Rose then asked if she could join their group as well. With their group now set, the field exercise began. In the forest, the groups had to collect checkpoints and reach the center as part of their field exercise. They had to be on guard for dangerous monsters lurking around. As they ventured into the forest, Ray's group was attacked by a giant monster bee. Ray quickly took it down. That night, Ray remembered he was supposed to keep his identity as the Iceblade Sorcerer a secret, but could share it with trusted friends. The next day, Albert, who disliked Ray, was attacked by another monster. Hearing Albert's cries for help, Ray rushed to the rescue. He defeated the monster with his knife and ultimately saved Albert. When Ray's group arrived, they saw a mysterious figure revive the defeated monster. The group was stunned as the monster came back to life and charged at Ray with full force. Ray blocked the attack and Amelia quickly cast a spell to help fend off the monster. After that, Eva and Eliza joined in with their attacks, giving Ray the chance to finish off the monster. When they finally defeated it, a weird blue slime popped out, which Ray found pretty strange. He thanks his friends for their help, and the mysterious mask figure vanished. They went on to collect the rest of the checkpoints, and Eliza apologized for feeling like a burden, but everyone cheered her up, saying she was no trouble at all. After passing the field exercise, Ray's team was declared the best group. Many nobles were unhappy because Ray, an ordinary student, had come in first place. Ray noticed their grumbling, but his friends told him to ignore the negativity. They didn't know what they were talking about. Meanwhile, Lydia was eagerly waiting for Ray's visit. When Ray arrived, Carla the servant escorted him to Lydia. Lydia was thrilled to see him, and they enjoyed some tea together. Lydia told Ray that they probably wouldn't be able to use magic properly for another 5 years, and advised him to use it only in emergencies. She then shared her research on magic code's engram, explaining that engram is linked to the brain. Unfortunately, an evil group called the Eugenics Organization was also researching it. They had tried to recruit Lydia, but she refused, calling them insane. Lydia warned Ray to be careful, as they were known to target skilled wizards. After that, the two went for a walk, and Lydia became curious about Ray's life. She noticed he seemed happier, and said she would like to meet his friend someday. Lydia then gave Ray a book about her current research on engram. The next morning, during the workout, Ray met Eliza, who was going to the city library. Ray asked if he could join her to visit the library. They met at a short time later, and Eliza made herself extra pretty for Ray with her outfit. Ray told her she looked cute, which made her very happy. While at the library, Eliza discovered that Ray likes to read novels, which she didn't expect. Afterward, they wanted to go out to dinner, but on the way, they met Clarice. Ray invited Clarice to dinner with them and introduced Eliza and Clarice to each other. They became instant friends over dinner. When they returned to the academy, Ray happened to meet Amelia. He noticed Amelia's outfit and complimented her. Ray then talked about his dinner with Eliza and Clarice, which made Amelia jealous. As a result, the naive Ray was taken by Amelia shopping. Unfortunately, while changing, a spider suddenly appeared, causing Amelia to jump in her underwear. Realizing she was standing in front of Ray in her underwear, she blushed. After their shopping trip, Ray had a meeting with Mrs. Gray, who wanted to ensure he felt comfortable at the academy and offered her support for any problems he might face. The next day, Ray received a spare key to the Flower Garden Club, due to the busy schedules of its members. While visiting the clubroom, he accidentally walked in on Rebecca changing. He quickly apologized and they later bonded over their mutual interest in flowers. In his class, the students had intense combat training for the upcoming Magic Sperry tournament. Amelia shone with her performance, easily defeating a classmate. Curious about Ray's strength, she challenged him. Although Ray had the upper hand, he lost when his sword slipped from his grasp and Amelia won, noticing something was off with them. During lunch, Ray shared stories about his master, Lydia, who taught him everything about fighting and life. Suddenly, Albert, jealous of Ray's achievements, challenged him to a fight. They dueled outside the academy, with Albert using dangerous magic. Despite Albert's intense fire attacks, Ray's defense held strong, and he eventually defeated Albert's fire dragon. The battle ended with Ray's friends wanting to know more about his past. Just as Ray was about to share his story, a villain attacked with gravity magic, and Mrs. Gray revealed herself as a member of the evil organization Eugenics. She attacked Ray with fire magic, but he transformed into the Iceblade Sorcerer, creating swords of ice to counter her attacks. Mrs. Gray, in disbelief of Ray's true identity, uses a dark magic item to transform into a monster. Despite her powerful attacks, Ray used anti-material code to nullify her magic and eventually defeated her with an ice tornado, sealing his power and passing out from exhaustion. While unconscious, Ray recalled his past, being an orphan found by Lydia on a battlefield, who took care of him. Over time, Ray became known as the Iceblade Sorcerer. After regaining consciousness, Ray opened up to his friends about his past and uncontrollable powers. They accepted him, offering encouragement and support. Albert later visited Ray to apologize sincerely for his actions, which Ray graciously forgave. Shortly after, their class got a new teacher, the famous Caroline, who had a history with Ray. Amelia, feeling the pressure of expectations, trained hard for the tournament, forcing her childhood friend Ariane in the finals. Ray's training methods, inspired by Lydia, helped Amelia grow stronger. In the final battles, Amelia showcased her tactical prowess and resilience. Ray decided to help Amelia with her desperation. He approached her and asked to enter her room, which she allowed. Inside, Amelia confided in Ray about her fears of failing and the immense pressure she felt as the eldest daughter of the Rose family. She despaired, feeling that she could never surpass Ariane and questioned the meaning of her life. Overwhelmed, she broke down in tears. Ray comforted her, telling her that life's meaning is something one must create for themselves, and promised to always stand by her side. Amelia cried in his arms and eventually fell asleep. Feeling reassured by his presence, Ray stayed with her all night, holding her hand until morning. The next day, at the newbie tournament, Amelia's fight against Ariane was announced. Ray reassured Evi and Eliza not to worry about Amelia, mentioning he had never been with her all night. This innocent remark shocked Evi and Eliza, causing misunderstandings. Ray then visited Amelia, bringing her a rose. Amelia, touched by his gesture, asked for a hug and promised to do her best in the fight. Suddenly, Lex informed Ray that Clarice and other noble students had been kidnapped by the Grim Reapers. Ray and Lex quickly acted, with Ray discovering the unconscious students. Clarice woke up, and Ray explained the situation before the Grim Reapers attacked. Ray used his powerful magic to counter and neutralize their abilities, ultimately freezing them. Meanwhile, in the arena, Ariane activated her overspell and launched a fierce attack on Amelia. Amelia, after initially struggling, managed to counter with a powerful explosion spell, surprising Ariane. As the fight progressed, both fighters exhausted their energy. In a decisive moment, they struck at each other simultaneously, and Ariane lost consciousness, awakening later on Amelia's lap. Ariane congratulated Amelia on her victory, and Amelia, overcome with emotion, thanked her friends and Ray for their support. Ariane admitted that she had always aimed to be a role model for Amelia, and they reconciled, reaffirming their childhood promise to remain best friends forever. Amelia's victory in the tournament made her father proud, and Ariane's father also congratulated her. Ray visited Amelia in the hospital to congratulate her, and she expressed her gratitude for his support. In the following days, Rebecca had her final match against Lucas Frost, who swiftly defeated her. Lucas, revealing himself as a new Grand Wizard, challenged Ray, knowing his true identity as the Iceblade Sorcerer. Meanwhile, Abby, Carol, and Lydia interrogated the captured Grim Reapers, but failed due to their self-destruct mechanism. Despite the setback, the participants were congratulated, and Ray's class planned to host a maid cafe for the upcoming cultural festival. Amelia had convinced Ray of the idea, and despite initial resistance, the class eventually agreed. During preparations, Dina informed Ray that Rebecca was engaged to a nobleman named Evan Bernstein, raising suspicions about the engagement. Ray investigated Evan and learned from Lydia that Evan was associated with an evil organization, seeking to exploit Rebecca's powers. Rebecca, unaware of Evan's true intentions, pretended to be happy. As the festival began, Rebecca and Ray grew closer, and he supported her amidst her troubles. Maria, Rebecca's sister, expresses her concerns, and Ray promised to protect Rebecca. Rebecca, witnessing a hug between Ray and Maria, misunderstood the situation, but trusted Ray's innocence. The festival commenced, and Ray helped both his class and the student council. That night, Ray had a nightmare about his past, seeing Rebecca in his dreams, and when he woke up, blood flowed down like tears from his eyes. The next day, Ariane and her sister Tiana visited Amelia. Amelia, disguised as a maid, cheerfully presented her friends with egg omelets, wishing them lots of fun at their maid cafe. Ariane remarked that she hadn't seen Ray at all, but just then, Ray showed up disguised as Lily White. His classmates couldn't believe how pretty Ray looked as a girl. Maria, not knowing that Lily was actually Ray, admired Lily White. Ray put on a perfect maid performance, impressing all his friends, who couldn't believe how good a maid he was. Rebecca's friend Dina encouraged her to have fun with Ray at the school festival. Ray and Rebecca had a lot of fun, especially in the haunted house, where Clarice, disguised as a ghost, tried to scare them. However, Ray remained calm, spending a lovely day with Rebecca. Rebecca wanted to ask Ray something but hesitated, knowing it might be impossible. On Maria's way home, a mysterious woman with white hair appeared, and ominously told her that Rebecca would die soon. Ray later learned about Rebecca's problem with Rebecca's father, who asked him to save her. That night, evil monsters, aware of Ray's true identity as the Iceblade Sorcerer, awaited him. Rebecca cried in pain from her bleeding eyes, unable to bear the agony any longer. The next morning, Rebecca said goodbye to Ray without revealing her troubles. In the afternoon, Ray, still disguised as Lily White, noticed Maria acting suspiciously at their maid cafe. Realizing why she was so depressed, Ray decided to save Rebecca. Meanwhile, Rebecca was kidnapped by Evan and taken to an abandoned place. Ray, still in disguise, fought the enemy monsters, suddenly aided by his friends. They all displayed their strong skills, defeating many monsters. However, one of the villains managed to escape, prompting Ray's friends to urge him to pursue the fleeing foe. It was then revealed that Rebecca possessed a hidden power, appearing every few hundred years in the Bradley family. Maria tried to save her big sister, but the evil organization Eugenics showed up. The real Evan Bernstein appeared, and it was revealed that Rebecca's kidnapper was Lizzie Lotte, one of the 7 Grand Sorcerers. Lizzie Lotte wanted to stop Evan, who immediately tried to kill her. Evan held a grudge against Lizzie Lotte for taking his form and inheritance 10 years ago. Lizzie Lotte defended Rebecca, teleporting her to safety and Evan to another dimension. Lizzie Lotte told Maria she had a chance to talk with her sister now and that Ray would handle the remaining enemy, Paratrogo. Ray confronted Paratrogo and attempted to attack, but Liselote repelled the assault with a barrier. Introducing herself as the Sorcerer of Fabrication, Liselote explained her plan. Rebecca needed to reach Overheat, and Ray should seal her with his Chronos Lock. As Paratrogo broke through the barrier, Ray unleashed his seal power to fight back. Meanwhile, Liselote teleported to another dimension, where Evan, having turned into a monster using the Dark Triad system, attacked her. Liselote countered with a powerful spell, defeating Evan, who lay injured, realizing he had been bested by the strongest sorcerer in the world. Back in the main battle, Ray's friends defeated the enemy monsters, but they revived, attacking with deadly spells. Lydia and other Grand Wizards arrived just in time, protecting Ray's friends and displaying their incredible powers. Carla used her Lightning Slash, Abby demonstrated her Fire Magic, and Lydia summoned a huge Ice Blade, destroying the entire area. Ray faced his opponent, who unleashed dangerous power, seriously injuring him. Maria, angry at Rebecca for putting Ray in danger, slapped her sister, urging her to stop trying to be perfect. As they argued, Rebecca's overheat activated in her eyes. Regaining consciousness, Ray learned that Evan Bernstein was a loved one to Liselote. Ray told Rebecca she didn't have to face her problems alone, as she was important to him and her sister Maria. Using the Chronos Lock, Ray successfully saved Rebecca. In the days that followed, Ray visited his friend Howard's grave, sharing that he had great friends at school and was happy with his life. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Until next time, take care.